Llamageddon is about an alien llama who crashes to Earth and proceeds to kill everyone in sight. It's so terrible, it's basically a waste of everyone's time. It starts off with animations of llamas hatching from eggs and marching in a formation that is reminiscent of, let's just say, the hyenas in Lion King. And they're making these trailer ship things. Then they take off and one of them gets hit by a satellite and crashes to Earth. This is off to a great start. Then the llama comes out with his glowing red eyes, and these farmers notice it and just think that it's their neighbor's llama. They think about calling them to let them know, but then decide to wait until morning because it's about to rain. That's about the kind of logic you can expect from this. That night, the llama breaks into the house and kills them. Then there's this random scene of investigators looking at a trailer ship, but there's nothing ever really done about it. How did they get a helicopter for this movie? We are then introduced to the main characters, Floyd and Mel. They're discussing the murder of their grandparents, and Mel is being a complete bitch about it.
I don't know how they could have got inside the house and just...
Oh my god, Floyd. It was the Loch Ness Chupacabra Sasquatch.
Because that's how normal people act after a loved one just died. Eventually they get to their grandparents' house and this llama is still just hanging out for some reason. Okay, I'm going to apologize ahead of time, but are you ready for the worst delivered line I have ever heard?
And if he wets the bed, don't make me allow it.
But Mom, you said you wouldn't tell anyone!
I'm sorry I showed that, but what the hell? And why is the camera so close to their faces? Then the mom decides, well, I'm gonna leave, enjoy being home alone in the house that your grandparents were murdered in. So Mel decides that she's gonna throw a party. Then there's this minute-and-a-half scene where she's inviting like 30 people over. Back at the ship, some scientists are examining the ship and find a furry egg. Then it shows a time-lapse, but to show this, they literally just put the word time-lapse on the screen for 5 seconds. How long was the time-lapse? Well, no one knows. Next, there is a party scene that is just painful to watch. I swear, they purposely tried to make this acting as bad as possible. And whatever is going on here. I seriously don't know, but it made me start to regret watching this thing. And this goes on for a full minute. What the hell? So Mel wants to find out where someone named Sarah is at and text her, but they can't even get that right.
She's so funny.
She's not even looking at the phone. Come on. Can you at least try to give this some quality? Sarah almost runs into the alien llama and it uses its laser eyes to blow her car up. Then this guy goes outside to pee even though he's in a house that, you know what, never mind. Sees the llama, freaks out, and goes back inside. Gee, I wonder who sponsored this movie, but why the hell did they? These guys get Floyd to start drinking and play some dumb drinking game. By the way, Don, the guy on the left, changes shirts like 20 times in this movie. It's supposed to be a joke on continuality errors, but it's just obnoxious. This guy goes outside and the llama kills him and his girlfriend. And it's just some guy with wool sleeves on, moving his hands kind of close to her face and then shots of the llama in front of a green screen. This movie just has the worst quality. Later on, Floyd mentions that they have a hot tub, so they're all gonna go in there now. But first, there's this whole 2.5 minute long scene that is so uncomfortable to watch, it literally made my eyes burn. I'm not even going to show it because this is the point where I regretted watching this thing. And we're only halfway through this monstrosity. Anyway, after that crap, they all go into the hot tub and the llama comes in, knocks the radio in, and electrocutes them all. Which is basically them just flopping around with this terrible electricity animation. Look at her, she's literally laughing about this. Then these two... Sorry, I just needed a minute. These two absolute brain-dead morons see what's going on, think they must be having fun, put their feet in, and get electrocuted. What the f*** is going on? I feel like I'm going insane watching this.
Everyone is dead in the hot tub.
Oh my god, Dan, what's going on?
Everyone is dead in the hot tub!
What is
Floyd,
all this?
everyone in the hot tub is dead.
Everyone is dead in the hot tub!
Gee, I wonder if everyone's dead in the hot tub. So they all go outside to get reception or something to call the cops, and the llama shows up, so these two take off. It shoots this girl with its laser eyes, and she explodes with this crappy explosion effect, and then they just spray tons of fake blood all over these poor actors. And Dan just goes inside. Then the llama pukes slime, I don't even know, on Trent.
Floyd, didn't Grandpa and Grandma have a landline?
Why did they not use this in the first? Why am I even questioning this? They then call the cops and their dad. So Trent starts, what the hell, turning into a llama, and then they all leave the house and run into the forest. So after running a while, now they decide it's probably a bad idea to be running around with a person who is turning into a llama, and ditch him. Then, since they couldn't even be bothered to try practical effects, they go back to this cartoon animation so they can show the llama doing whatever this is to him. But yet, it's almost somehow better than the live action stuff. These three find the spaceship that I guess the scientists just abandoned, and Dan finds, what is that?
It's a goddamn space stick.
It's a bat wrapped in aluminum foil. Dan uses it to hit the llama's lasers away, so at least it has some use. But then he proceeds to stand with his back to the llama and get shot with a laser. What was the point of that? So Floyd and Mel just leave the stick thing and hide in a barn. Then their dad gets there, sees a laser from the llama, and what's his first thought?
Damn kids and their laser beams.
What kind of lasers does he think these kids have? What kind of logic is that? This movie. Whatever, he goes into the barn and sees the scream slime on the wall and thinks, I'm gonna touch it and lick it because I'm a moron. Trent is also in the barn and is laying eggs. I wish I was making this up, but I'm not. But it does make me wonder if the people who did were on drugs. And this goes on for 2.5 minutes. This is only an hour long, and it's filled with bullshit like this that just goes on for what feels like forever. Their dad sees this and just decides to shoot him, because I don't even care enough to analyze this anymore. He then shoots all the eggs, but they couldn't even bother to put in gunshot sounds. He then fights the llama and it bites his throat out. After that, Floyd and Mel leave the barn and run into the stupid llama. But their dad is somehow still alive and I guess kills it with a combine. So he dies, and thank God this stupid thing is over. Then during the credits there's a song that goes over the whole plot and they play the whole movie at 10 times speed. This could have saved so much time if I knew that in the beginning. This might be the worst thing I've ever seen. I feel like I can't even call it a movie because it's not. It's just people messing around for an hour. The characters do things that no one would ever do, like act like assholes to people who just lost a loved one getting into water that is obviously electrified, or basically anything else. It's only just over an hour long, but yet there are scenes that go on for way too long just for the sake of being weird or making the audience uncomfortable. There's stupid dialogue that doesn't sound remotely real and is delivered in the most annoying way possible. And they just throw random stuff in there. At one point, a character makes an alpaca joke and stares at the camera for like 5 seconds. Llamas aren't even alpacas, that doesn't make any sense. The only bit of merit that I can give this is at least they bothered to make sure that the llama's eyes are glowing red in every frame that it's in. And that shouldn't even be compliment worthy, it should be the bare minimum, especially because they couldn't even do that for Grant or whatever his name was. I understand that this was made with the intent of being a bad movie, but come on. There is a line between so bad it's good and so bad it's annoying. And this blows right past the annoying phase and just keeps running. This is worse than Bride of the Werewolf and even Saving Christmas, because at least with those I could tell that they tried. The acting is atrocious all around, especially the main characters. James Earl Cox is terrible as Floyd. His acting is flat, and there are times when he does this high-pitched voice that honestly hurt my ears. At least his character is supposed to be awkward and annoying, but still it's just terrible. Pinki Brainweis is just as bad as Mel. Her acting is flat, even when she's trying to sound believable. There's a scene where she's texting someone but never looks at her phone. Instead, she looks at the text bubbles that are on the screen for the audience. I can't tell if this was done on purpose or the director just couldn't get her to look at the phone and gave up. The only actor that is decent is Louie the llama, because at least he does a good job of walking and standing around and being a llama. The visual effects are terrible, but at least it's kind of excusable because it's obviously a low budget movie and visual effects are expensive. They use stock images for effects like explosions or electricity, and for the blood, they just spray the actors with a ridiculous amount of fake blood, which honestly made me feel kind of bad for them. The Foley animation parts are kind of strange because they're just thrown in, but at least they're a creative solution for scenes that would require higher visual effects. At least you can see what was going on in them, but it's still kinda odd. This thing gave me a migraine to the point to where I was sitting at my desk with my eyes closed and my head in my hands. If you made it this far into the video, I'm sorry I put you through all this. Thanks for watching.